want to go to Mars, July 2020 is peak season. China has already sent a mission to the red planet this month, and on Thursday it will be NASA's turn. Now, the US is launching a robotic vehicle called Perseverance, equipped with a new invention, one that may transform the very way that we explore the red planet. Yasmin Asabawi has this report for us.
They're calling it Perseverance, and it cost nearly $2.5 billion. This SUV-sized robot is heading to Mars to find out if it was ever actually inhabited. In 2015, NASA confirmed that water in liquid form exists on the red planet, not just in ice caps. In fact, scientists say at one point Mars was mostly covered by ocean. Whether life forms actually benefited from that water, that's what NASA wants to know. And can humans benefit too? Perseverance is outfitted with unique tools to find out.
This particular robot is going to fly with it what we call Ingenuity. Ingenuity is a helicopter. We're going to fly a helicopter on another world for the first time in human history. But there's also other technology demonstrations. We're going to turn carbon dioxide, the atmosphere of Mars, we're going to turn it into pure oxygen to prove that we could actually send humans there and have them actually have the life support that they need, and that we can create that life support there on another world, Mars.
But first, the hardest part. The rover needs to make a successful landing.
The period from hitting the atmosphere to getting to the surface has been characterized, depending on the mission, as either the 6 minutes of terror or the 7 minutes of terror. And that's the time that it takes to go from 12,000 miles per hour to 0. It is a daunting task that requires several different technologies to make it work.
And if a mission fails, that's where it happens. The United States remains the only country to have landed spacecraft on Mars. Perseverance will be NASA's 5th rover. It has sent a dozen missions to the planet already using satellites and other spacecraft. The launch on July 30th means the rover is expected to arrive on Mars in February 2021, when it would become the 9th successful landing for NASA. That date is when the red planet's path most closely aligns with Earth. Yasmin Al-Sabawi, TRT World.
Per Wimmer is an astronaut, and he joins me now live from London. Per, this is a very exciting and big day for NASA. What can we expect at the launch of NASA's Perseverance rover today?
Well, first of all, we should expect the launch to go ahead, which is by no means a given, but the weather condition looks very good. The rover will be flying on the ULA Atlas V rocket, which is a good workhorse. This will be the 85th mission of the Atlas V rocket. So we hope and expect it to go well. But if you look at the history of Mars missions, there's been 56 attempts in the history, and only 26 of them have actually been successful. So it's by no means a given fact. About half of the missions fail. But NASA certainly has a very good track record. They already have the lander InSight and the rover Curiosity on Mars. And the Perseverance rover that we're launching here today is actually based on Curiosity. It's an improved, slightly bigger version with a lot more technology attached, including that helicopter, small helicopter that your colleagues showed there a minute ago, where we're going to be trying to fly on Mars for the first time, and also trying to convert CO2 into pure oxygen. So those are two exciting missions, I think, in its own right.
And what could be the challenges for these two very exciting missions on Mars?
Well, it's the first time it's ever tried, so there's always a challenge when you try true pioneering things. But I think more broadly, what these missions can uncover for us as humankind is help us to understand any previous signs of life on Mars. That is really what we're looking for here. Once upon a time, Mars was not the dry and cold planet that it is today. Something happened. Mars was a bit more closer to the Earth. You know, there was definitely water, there was potentially a lot of life, but that's what we're trying to find out. And this is in the context of science, trying to understand this eternal question we all have been running around asking ourselves when we were kids: is there life on Mars? Well, Perseverance is going to help us answer that question, because there'll be a lot of microbiology science taking place, etc.
And
if you then
so to jump in, what do you think? Do you think there was life on Mars? This is one of the missions now.
Oh, it's very conceivable. You certainly have the conditions. You have energy, and once upon a time, Mars was well protected in a similar way to what we know here on planet Earth, with the ozone layer. That sort of disappeared, and that's why Mars is as dry and as red as it is here today. But it's quite possible. You certainly have a lot of water. The water now sits on the ice caps. It's frozen. But if you were to unfreeze it, it would basically be the equivalent of 16 meters of water across the planet. So there's a lot of water there, and a very necessary condition for life, indeed.
And the rover is expected to arrive on Mars in February next year, and that would be, if that is successful, the 9th landing for NASA. What happens then?
Well, then it will continue to collect the various assays. It's going to collect a number of rock samples in a pool, if you like. That will then be collected by NASA and ESA, the European Space Agency, on a joint mission that will take place later. So they will come and collect effectively some of the probes, and we'll analyze the soils here on planet Earth on a later mission. At the same time, we should also remember there are other probes. This is truly Mars Week that we're going through at the moment. We had the UAE launching their very first Mars mission on July 20th, and the Chinese Chang'e-1 probe that was launched on the 23rd of July. So there's a lot of new knowledge that we will learn from Mars, no doubt, in the future when these probes start landing in February.
And as you say, there are other rovers, other missions to Mars. How are they different, and is that knowledge then combined?
Yes, in general, the space community tend to share a lot of knowledge, tends to work together, etc. So, for instance, when the Chinese were landing on the far side of the moon, that was with European equipment inside. It was with help for the Russians, and even NASA contributed to some of the coordination for actually landing on the far side of the moon. So there's definitely a lot of collaboration in space, perhaps much more than we find here on planet Earth, and perhaps we as humans and politicians perhaps could learn more on how to collaborate from the astronauts and the space community. But what is different with the UAE probe, that one will that one will focus on the atmosphere of Mars, trying to understand what went wrong, what happened when Mars was transformed from a wet and
We have run out of time. Thank you very much indeed. And that is the news for now here on CRT World. Headlines are next.